First thing we want to do is to remove the battery to avoid any kind of damage to the device. If you look real close down here on both sides, you'll see little plastic covers that cover up the screws that you're going to need to remove in order to get the screen out. Now we're going to remove the little covers, trying to be able to use them again. Most of the time I don't have very much luck with that. There we go. There's the first one. And let's see about the second one. Really in there. Come on. There it goes. Okay. Now we're going to switch over to a Phillips bit, a small Phillips, and remove the Phillips screw right there. We're going to place that off to the side. Other side. And we're going to do the same thing here and remove the other Phillips screw. After that, that loosens up our bezel around here. So we're then going to be able to remove this back bezel. We're going to apply a little pressure around the edges here, ever so slightly, to pop this up and pop the little clips, plastic underneath there, loose, so that we can carefully remove this back cover and get to what we need to take the screen out in there. There we go. Start to come loose now. Got to be very careful, keeping it all the way open, but not applying too much pressure downwards so that you don't mess up your hinges. You want to be careful also as we come across the top, because you have a webcam in this Emachine's model. Come on, pop loose. A little bit more down here. Oh, yeah. Oops, got the wrong side under. This is what's going on. We're now coming across the top. Put this over. Continuing to slip through, pop loose, real carefully so that we don't break any of our little connectors. Coming up on the webcam, there we go. Now, just slip this out, and looky what we have there. We have the screen all ready and accessible. So now what we'll do is we will open up the package that came in the mail. packed extra well in a double bubble wrap on the inside. Okay, our new screen. There. I'm going to set this off to the side. Come back to our screen, and now we're going to take the Phillips screws on the corners. There's two down here, one up here, another one over here at the top, and two more on this side on the bottom. Flip back to Phillips for that. The other two on the bottom. Now I'm going to move those two screws with these four off with the other ones that we took out earlier and the two little dots. Now we're going to take the corner screws out, putting them with the other ones. All of these screws are the same size that are coming out of this top of the screen, so it doesn't matter, if you get them confused. Now we want to lift this. Oh, wait a minute. Now we have to now that we have those screws out, we now have access to the sides of the holder that's holding the screen in place. We're going to take those little ones out, 3 on each side. One here. The other one started here, here, and here. I'm going to leave this top one in until I've disconnected it in the back. Oops. There it is. Got to be real careful we don't lose any of the little screws. We're going to flip this around. Well, it looks like our webcam is attached to the back of the screen. So we're going to have to use great care in getting that off of there. Let's go ahead and take the rest of these little screws off of here. Over here a little more. There we go. Looks like I'm missing one there. Interesting. There we go. Now, the screen is free. It's on the one side. Now, we need to ever so carefully remove the connector on the top for the webcam so that we don't break anything. Okay. Next screen. There we go. Alright. That one. I'll get that screw and I'll be right back. Now that we found the screw, and we remove the little trace that goes to the webcam right up here on the top. We want to ever so carefully lean it back, and you'll see the connector right here, the edge connector. Want to be we're going to remove this also from there. It has a little double-sided tape on there. This we want to be very careful with when we remove it. So you don't want to damage the cable coming in. There we go. I've just about got it. Okay, now peel the tape back. And it just popped right out of there. Careful not to damage the connector. There we go. I'm going to remove this one. Take our new one. Place it here. Go ahead and close that down. Okay. Take our protective cover off. Just to peel the stickers back. Protecting the bottom of it. Okay. Yeah. First thing we want to do is get our little connector hooked back up. That's going to be right like this. Bring this up just a hair. There we are. Got to be extremely gentle with it. Sometimes it's not quite cooperative the first time. We just try. It would seem as though a little piece of the contact tape that was on here from the other machine had gotten in the way, and that's why that it wasn't slipping into the connector. We're going to give it another try now. There we go. Very gently. We had to remove a little bit of this tape and get it out of the way in order to line up our connector properly so that we didn't damage it. Now we're going to slip it in ever so gently from the bottom side up. And it should just, you'll feel it a little bitty click. Then you want to just lay down the tape that was there before. And then we're going to start securing it on the sides. Now, just start getting our screws lined up. There we go. There. Okay. Start down here. There we are. We continue to do that with the other screws, the one here and the other three on the other side. I will quickly put those screws in and come back. Okay, we've now moved to the other side. We're going to take another one of the little microfine screws here that go in there. slip it on here and line this up real careful so that when it slips down I can get her started. And there we have it. She's all the way in there. And now we go to our very last screw on the outside skeleton. Slip that in there, tighten it down. There we go. Now we are going to seat the back onto the screen. We still have it connected here. We're going to lift this up, line these little pieces up down here. Oh, wait a minute, our tape has gone bad. So first thing we're going to do is replace the tape. The last thing we want to do is get in the middle of the job after we put it back together and then the tape's no good and it comes apart. Okay, we're going to connect a little screw up here on the top so that we're able to line all of our wires up. So we get this in place. Oops, trying to get that in your view right here. Start one up in there. That way we can continue to line everything up. Now you'll see this one lined up on the other side. Turn this off here. Move up just a hair. See, this is lined up, but now all we have to do is just add our screw to that. Again, using the little short screw. There we are. Now, where we had removed this earlier, we want to line up and get back in the little wires ever so gently back into these holders so that when we close the connector up, it's all lined up and not getting caught. This should be over just a hair. Okay. There we are. Now, make sure that each one of those goes through its protector. There we go. Between there, flip it down. Have to go between there as well. Okay. There we go. Now we'll line up and tighten up our screws on the bottom. We'll start with the ones on the right. We want to remember not to put a screw here because you took this out when you took the bezel off the front. Make sure one more time, test the other screws, make sure that they're good and snug. All of our wires are laid down, nothing's in the way. And we go to close up our lid. So the next step, put on the bezel. So we're going to open the laptop all the way, being very careful not to spring the top. Make sure everything's in the right place here with the webcam. Slip those down over the slip it. There we go. Got to close it part way, it looks like, to get that to slip in there. There we are. Now, make sure that the webcam lines up with the lens right up here at the top. Right here. Because if that doesn't line up on the inside, your webcam's not going to work right. Alright, now we're going to start reattaching, because most of this just snaps right on, staying out away from the edges so as not to damage the screen that you just put in. Now we're going to put this little black screw back in, and that's going to secure the hinge. One more screw on the other side. Let's flip the laptop around so you can see that one. That one is also right here. It's the two little places we took the plastic dots off of earlier. I'm going to try and put those back on, but most of the time they don't go back on. Plastic dot. Oh, it fell right on there. Looks a little goofy. Alright, now let's try the other one. And we will also place it on there. Slip it on there where it goes. And it's all covered up. Now close the lid. Check, make sure that everything is good and closed up. No gaps open. Okay, so it looks like we've done a good job there. We're now going to put the battery in and give it a test. Okay, flip it up, open her up. Look how beautiful that new screen looks. You can see even the webcam in it. Hit the button, and what do you know? We have a brand new screen. And it looks like we'll just start normally because everything worked well before. Thank you very much, and we will be concluding this video at this point.